How a neocon-backed fact-checker, quote-unquote, plans to wage war on independent media. As NewsGuard project advances, it will soon become almost impossible to avoid this neocon-approved news site's ranking system. Okay, so there's an organization, and it's called NewsGuard, and it's a it's a ranking system for websites. So here's how they do it. Red light, green light. NewsGuard has received considerable attention in the mainstream media as of late, having been the subject of a slew of articles. NewsGuard separates sites it deems worthy and sites it considered unreliable using a color-coded rating, green, yellow, or red, and more detailed nutrition labels, quote-unquote, regarding a site's credibility or lack thereof. Rankings are created by NewsGuard's team of trained analysis. The color-coding system may remind some readers of the color-coded terror threat level warning system that was created after 9/11. Making it worth noting that Tom Ridge, the former Secretary of Homeland Security who oversaw the implementation of that system under George W. Bush, is on NewsGuard's advisory board. Interesting. So here we go. Fox News gets a green check. This website generally maintains basic standards of accuracy and accountability. The website of Fox News Channel, this is according to NewsGuard, the website of Fox News Channel, the most watched cable and satellite news channel in the United States, was created by Rupert Murdoch as a conservative counterpoint to the three major broadcast networks and CNN. All right. So who's working here? This is so here, the article talks about this guy. This is what I was looking for here. This guy is Gordon Krovitz. In addition to being a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, Krovitz proudly notes in his bio, available on NewsGuard's website, that he has been an editor, contributor to books published by the American Enterprise Institute and the Heritage Foundation. Those are both propaganda neocon think tanks. And Krovitz has spent a lot of time contributing to the Wall Street Journal. He contributes to the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News. And what does Fox News get? Fox News gets that. So right away, there's conflict of interest number one. So one of the CEOs contributes a lot to the Wall Street Journal, was involved in neocon propaganda think tanks, and all of a sudden, gee, I wonder why these. So who else is involved? Let's find out. So we're going to go over to NewsGuard's website and look at who their investors are. Our investors, Gordon Krovitz. So we talked about his conflict of interest. Writes for the Wall Street Journal. All of a sudden, the entities that are owned by the Wall Street Journal, they get a green light. Interesting. So Cox Investment Holdings. Cox Investment is a huge investor into this company. Well, who are they? Cox Enterprises is a private family-owned holding company with more than $20 billion in annual sales and operations spanning cable TV, broadcasting, publishing, and automobile listing services. It's a media enterprise. So NewsGuard is supposed to be a watchdog for media sites. It is supposed to be a rating system for media outlets. And who is it owned by? The corporate media. It's owned by people in bed with the corporate media and the corporate media itself. That's like saying, like, hey, we're an entity to rank fast food places. What we do is we rank the fast food places based on taste and health and how much people like it. Oh, who owns you guys? McDonald's. McDonald's owns us, but we rank all the fast food places. We're just owned by McG. I wonder, does McDonald's get a green light and everybody else doesn't? Is that how it works? Are you going to be fair and unbiased? Is that going to happen? Let's look at one more thing in this regard. So check this article out. These 15 billionaires own America's news media companies. So Rupert Murdoch is listed here. Rupert Murdoch involved with this entity. Not directly, but people who work under Rupert Murdoch are the CEOs of this company. Michael Bloomberg, Rupert Murdoch. Oh, and the Cox family. So just out of those first three, two of them have direct connections to this organization. So it is a media watchdog organization that is owned by the corporate media itself. And we're supposed to take that seriously. We can't. So getting back to this, Fox News gets a green, and we all know why. Well, because the CEO contributed a bunch to the Wall Street Journal, part owned by Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News. RT gets a red. Now, why does RT get a red? The website of a leading Russian government propaganda effort. That's what this website says about RT, or this organization says about RT. In addition to its broadcasting channels, RT was previously known as Russia Today. VOA reporting is governed by the VOA Charter, a U.S. law that commits VOA to reporting that is accurate and objective, represents all segments of American society, and presents responsible discussions and opinions of U.S. policies. So they get a green check. RT, though, because that's state-funded by an entity that's not the United States, doesn't get a green. Okay? And here's their advisory board. Tom Ridge, first Secretary of Homeland Security in the George W. Bush administration. The George W. Bush administration was an administration that shamelessly faxed talking points to Fox News. A shameless display of corruption of power, and a shameless display of the government being in bed with big media. Richard Steingle, who former editor of Time magazine and undersecretary of state for public diplomacy in the Obama administration. So this is another media mogul, which they should not be on the advisory board. That's conflict of interest 101. Political analyst, NBC. So again, member of the media, conflict of interest. And this gets Comcast involved, which is one of the major companies controlling our media. Don Beer, White House communications director in the Clinton administration. And I'm not crazy familiar with what this company does, specifically the Burson Conan Wolf. John Battelle, co-founding editor of Wired, again, a member of the media. Jessica Lisson, founder and editor-in-chief of The Information. So you see multiple glaring conflicts of interest, some more subtle than others, but you see multiple glaring conflicts of interest. So this is supposed to be, NewsGuard is this company that may get bigger, and it may become a commonplace thing that people use, and it's run by the corporate media, and it's run by neocons inside the corporate media. It's run by people connected to Wall Street, people connected to Comcast, people connected to Rupert Murdoch, and they're supposed to tell us what news is good and what news is invalid. Again, that's like the equivalent, hey, we're going to rank all the fast food restaurants. We're owned by McDonald's. We're owned by McDonald's, and there's a couple people affiliated with Burger King. By the way, green light, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's gets a red. Wendy's gets a red. That's what this is. A propaganda organization is going to try to tell you what's propaganda. And that's what happens when you hand over your media structure to corporations with no strings attached, when you have no protections for consumers of news and makers of news. And that's why the United States is barely in the top 50 when it comes to the press freedom rankings around the world. And all this state-run media that we're supposed to be so scared of. The BBC has its problems, but you think that that's not a better structure than the US? It is. The BBC is far from perfect. CBC, far from perfect. They all got their issues. Some of their issues are even quite similar to ours. But compared to what the United States has done, where now we have a propaganda watchdog telling you what's propaganda and what isn't, and making, in turn, more propaganda. See how that works? So this is not a valid media watchdog. If they wanted to do a valid thing like this, they would have it. They would have a board overseen by academics, and they would have it overseen by actual media critics, valid media analysis, who don't have conflicts of interest with any other network, who are elected to these positions, and it evolves. That's what they would actually do to have an entity like this that was worth a salt. but it's not. It's just a scam. So good for Impress News to call that out and address that.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your